This video will be listed in two separate sections, in both the annotation section as well as the tables section, as I'll be adding both a bill of materials as well as ballooning and auto ballooning within the drawing. So if you don't have the manual press assembly open, I would go ahead and open that up, and then we'll make a drawing from the assembly. I'm going to choose the default template, and I'll add an isometric view. Then I'm going to go ahead and right click on the view and go to the properties, and I want to show this within its exploded state, so I'm going to click the show in exploded state option. And then first I'm going to come in the annotation tab and choose the auto balloon. And this is just going to label individual components with a specific number. And if I were to add in a bill of materials right now, these numbers would correspond directly to how it's listed in the bill of materials. For 2012, they added this magnetic line option. If I drag it out and touch another balloon that's not on another magnetic line, I can collect that as well. Once you drag it off, it'll no longer be stuck on that magnetic line. And you can also delete these magnetic lines out and add them in directly from the annotations tab. And I can once again collect these out. I'll go ahead and delete out these balloons. And I also have the option of just individually ballooning parts. By default, these are set to display item number within a circle. You can also change the style to quite a few different options. One of the useful options here is circle with a split line. This allows you to display two different things. For example, if I choose the circular split line option and I have item number and quantity, you can see I have two of these screws within the assembly. I can also change this to plain text. And you can change the size of the balloon manually or by number of characters. And you can also go into further detail and specify quantity. But that's how you add in manual balloons. The next thing I'll do is add in the bill of materials. And it'll ask me to select a drawing view. I'll select this exploded view. And I have several options. I can do just the top level parts. I can do parts only, or I can do an indented bomb. I'll start with the top level only. And I'll auto balloon the view as well. And you can see that these numbers now reference the bill of materials table. So the press body, which is number 1, if I move this down in the list, it's going to change the numbering system around. And if I had a description in the custom properties, this would populate as well. And you can also add in more columns. If I were to add in a column to the right, I can add in a property. For example, the part number, if I've defined that. Or I can refer to another component. You can also delete out columns, make this a little bit more simple. And this can also be saved out into an external file or as a bill of materials template. You'll notice that item 2 is handle assembly. That refers to the entire handle, including the gear and this whole section of the handle. If we delete out the bill of materials and create a new one, and this time say indented, and I'll go ahead and choose detailed numbering. We can see now that it includes the subassembly as well as all the individual elements of that subassembly. So I can come in and delete out the balloons once again. And if I auto balloon the drawing, it'll once again create those balloons based on the bill of materials I have created. Lastly, I can create a bill of materials that is part level only, so it won't include an indent for a subassembly. So once again, if I go into tables, choose bill of materials, choose this view, I can choose parts only. And I also have an option of changing how the configurations of a part are grouped. So if I have multiple configurations of a different part, I have different options in which to display the configurations. For example, by default this is set to display configurations of the same part as separate items. We can have it set it to one item, or we can have it use the same name as one item. I'll go ahead and keep the default, as for this part it doesn't make any difference. And I'll add in this table. And you'll see now it adds all 10 of the parts within the assembly on the same level. But that is how you add in both balloons as well as a bill of materials.